To solve the problem of running scheduled tasks in distributed environment, there are multiple options. In this video, we will take a look at one of the options, that is ShedLock library. I found this library very easy to set up and configure, and it is very much solves our problem. If a task is being executed on one node, it acquires a lock which prevents execution of the same task from another node. It uses external stores like databases, Redis, Hazelcast, or Zookeeper for coordination. In our project, as we are already using MySQL, we will see how to do ShedLock setup using MySQL as a lock provider. So first, we will have to add these two dependencies in our pom.xml. One is ShedLock Micronaut, and second one is related to ShedLock provider JDBC Micronaut, because we will be using Micronaut JDBC as a lock provider. Once we import these two dependencies, we will have to create a table for ShedLock. So we will create a new migration script. Let's name this as v2 underscore underscore create ShedLock table dot SQL, and here we will add the script to create the ShedLock table, which contains the columns like name, which is name of your task, name of your scheduled task, lock until, locked at. Locked at basically is the time at which the node acquires the lock, and locked by, which also contains the instance ID of your service. Once we create this SQL file, so this table will be created to acquire lock on the specific instance. And before running the task on any instance, it will check if the lock is already been acquired by any other instance or not. If it is not acquired, it will acquire a lock and make an entry in this table so that no other instance will be able to acquire lock for lock until time, and hence scheduled job won't run on those instances. This makes sure that our scheduled task run only once at the same time. Now let us configure its lock provider. So for that, let us create a config package. Let's name this as ShedLock lock provider, or let's say ShedLock config. We will annotate this by @factory, and here we will have to, as we will be using the Micronaut JDBC lock provider, hence we will make this bin available. So public lock provider, and this takes transaction operations as argument, and the type is connection of java.sql. So transaction manager, and here basically we will return new instance of Micronaut JDBC lock provider. Once we we tell ShedLock to use Micronaut JDBC to acquire the logs. Now in application.yaml, we will also have to configure the configurations related to ShedLock. So ShedLock defaults, and here we will give lock at most for, let's say, 1 minute for our demo purpose. So this lock at most for, this specifies how long the lock should be kept in case the executing node dies. This is just a fallback under normal circumstances, the lock is released as soon as the task finishes. So finally, we are ready with all the configurations. Now, last thing we need to do is to go to our scheduled task, and we will add the @scheduler lock annotation. So if you see the arguments, it takes name, which is name of our scheduled task. So we will give the task name as analytics task. And we will also use lock at least for and say 4 seconds. The name enables ShedLock library to acquire the lock on specific instance for the specific task, and this name should be unique name across all your other scheduled tasks in the project. Lock at least for attribute specifies the minimum amount of time for which the lock should be kept. Its main purpose is to prevent execution from multiple instances in case of really short tasks and the clock difference between the instances. Now let us run the two instances of our service like we saw in our last video. As you can see, at a time, only one instance is able to run the task, and second instance is not able to run this task. It will, when it runs the task, then at that time first server won't be able to run that task. So as we have given the 5 seconds delay, if you see this task ran at the 40 seconds, 45 seconds. On 50 seconds, this instance took this task, and at 55th second, again first instance ran the task. So if we take a look at ShedLock table, it has the information. It has the information about currently which instance has locked your which instance has acquired the lock, and until what time. As this ShedLock library has very easy integration with Micronaut and is very well maintained open source library on GitHub, it is a go-to choice for solving our problem of scheduled tasks in a distributed environment.